Hey all, welcome back to Sonic Heroes!
We're Sonic Heroes. Here are these rejects from a game that no one really likes or remembers.
I no longer want to play this game.
Just insert Professor Farnsworth. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
At least you didn't have to sit through Team Rose.
Hey.
I did! That's the best part, but...
Whatever. Whichever one you missed out on. I think that was Team Dark.
Team Dark.
Yeah, Team Dark.
Team Dark wasn't that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, yeah, no, because Zeus kind of tore
it.
through Team Dark. Yeah, which was ironic because you did really, really good at the easy mode or the hard mode of the game, and then you fucked up really hard on the easy mode. It's like, what
It
happened?
was just the last two stages, man.
Yeah, but it's like the reality.
Anyway,
of
But
it.
that's pretty much ruined the
Actual
entire
one
playthrough,
for-
come the fuck on!
Alright,
Yeah.
fine.
Welcome to the longest story through means of repetition.
And we have these characters who have not seen a game since Knuckles Chaotix. This wonderful
For
trio.
good reason. Which is actually sad, because when I played Sonic Heroes as a kid, I actually thought these guys were kind of cool.
And for some reason, Vector became the most popular of the trio. Versus
Internet memes. I mean, find a computer room.
Hello, Eggman.
And we're not referencing the YouTube, it was just such a meme for a long time.
I mean, I still think that Vector was a pretty cool character design ever since he was designed in the very early days of Sonic. So, I don't think that he's going to be like. I don't think that he's going to be like, you know, that big, that, you know, how should I say it? Yeah, I don't
want to
think.
talk about Team Chaotix's policy for a second. We
Okay.
don't turn down work that pays. Well, what about work that pays you and stuff that isn't money? What about
It's based in exposure.
Whoa, what are you suggesting, man?
Team Chaotix may not be the way you think they are.
Alright, kids, I think you should stop watching.
It's a detective agency, for fuck's sakes.
So, what is their job? To detect?
Oh, look, in-game cutscenes. At least for this stage. Alright, so the first thing. Oh, whoa.
What?
You
What was that?
has just given up.
I overcommitted to the because I remember that there was a crab here, but I guess I was wrong.
Wow, okay.
Is he asking the robots?
So this is the gimmick with Chaotix, is that it'll put us, the Chaotix story tries to vary up these stages by putting us in different parts of the level almost, and giving us objectives to do in the level.
Basically,
I like to-
fetch quests in a platformer.
How fun.
I like to call the Chaotix story the preview to Shadow the Hedgehog as the game.
Yep.
If you don't like
Shadow the
this
Hedgehog,
in Heroes,
100% at least.
yeah. Well, even in general, I mean, there are some missions in the neutral playthrough you have to do something regardless. I don't think you can just do a straight neutral run.
And Wheat wonders why I want to
No, you
play.
can't.
And Wheat wonders why I want to play Shadow the Hedgehog with multiplayer.
You can only do one run of Shadow the Hedgehog, which is neutral good, by doing nothing but going to the goal ring.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
There's one path I guess you can do that on, and it's like
One
everything
of
else
10.
requires some. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
three?
and-
Three
And-
again.
And Wheat wonders why I want to do the multiplayer mod.
So wait, what
Those-
you want to do
those-
for that one?
Those collectathons are going to be a pain in the ass, but you know what? We're diverting too much from the subject right now. So, yeah, Team
Yeah, let's go back
Chaotix
to
is
Sonic
focused
Heroes.
more on collecting things. Supposedly, those are unique missions, and that's why this is justified. But in reality, it's just a way to say. In reality, it's just a way of saying that, yeah, that we're not doing what you actually want to do, which is going fast and clearing platforming challenges, because you know this game can get monotonous and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very
Hey, do you want to play a platformer? Too bad. Play this collectathon.
Well, like that's the problem that modern Sonic, or kind of that early modern Sonic era, because these games are nearly 20 years old. It's hard to call them modern anymore, but the early stages of the modern Sonic Adventure era.
The Green Eyes era.
Yeah, well, he's still got green eyes, but yeah, basically the point is like Shadow the Hedgehog and this suffer from. If you want to do a collectathon, there are much better games to play that are like Super Mario 64, you know, Banjo-Kazooie, all these kind of games are better collectathon platformers.
And that's pretty much my main issue with this shit. Sonic, why can Sonic Team just understand that we just want the speed platformer? Like
Because
Yeah.
you don't. You want gimmicks. You want a werehog. You want a sword. You want a fire on your stomach.
That just shows the faith the Sonic team has in their main formula. None.
You want to play with the Wiimote.
You want to waggle your Wiimote all day. It's okay, you're teenagers now. You're starting to get changes throughout your body.
Oh my gosh.
Especially you, Phoenix.
Well, I mean, we make stupid joke. I make a stupid joke like that, but the reality is, like, Sonic did have that teenage phase of like, you can equate it to being a teenager. It didn't know what it was. You know, there was a lot of identity crisis going on with the series around this time.
Very true. And you totally knocked out his first stage pretty well, man. Nice.
Yeah, good job. 3 minutes.
Yeah.
A rank.
Yeah, there we go.
Go.
the game is done with all of this. It just decides to give you A ranks every time.
Yeah. It's not that Yule has fucking skills, it's just that the game just fucking throws him a bone. Fuck off.
Hey, I'm not the one who put 500 hours into this. I'd rather do that with RE2.
If you put
That's true.
500 hours in RE2, that's a lot, because that game runs like, what, 6 hours at a time on normal playthroughs?
Legon, I didn't need
3 to 4,
Legon, I
actually.
didn't need that to complete the game. That's the real fucking shit. I needed less. That's the real fucking tea. Yeah, so don't talk shit, my mate. Okay, so yeah, let's go back to the subject. Like, look, I'm not against doing unique gimmicks. They can work, but the problem is that they don't really focus on what makes Sonic good, you know? Like the reason why we play
We're
Sonic
Sonic
games is
fans
because,
and we hate change because it keeps happening too much with Sonic.
well, not
Yeah,
so
I
much
mean,
that,
I think
because-
that's a. Well, I think it is that. I think a lot of people make that point, and I think it's accurate that it's like there's nothing wrong with changing a series up when it gets stale, but Sonic doesn't have enough time to get stale before they
Yeah.
start changing it up.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fan observations about like the Sonic cycle and oof.
Yeah, let's not even go with the Sonic cycle because,
Yeah.
well,
It does ring true
Yeah.
in a lot of areas.
Well,
but there's
if you-
like a modified cycle that we can go through, I guess.
I mean, Sus, do you want to, briefly talk about what the Sonic cycle is for those who don't know?
Yeah, so the Sonic cycle is just a disturbing trend when it comes to the development of these games. Basically, they market it, everyone's very hyped, and then something that deviates from the formula is released soon afterwards, like a new friend, a new gimmick. Some doubt starts to creep in, but people are so hyped for the game and want to buy it. And then it's eventually released, mass disappointment, mass controversies, mass divisive opinions in the fandom. We wonder if Sonic,
Roger.
yeah,
we wonder
like-
if Sonic was ever good in the first
Best
place.
example-
yeah, I don't want to bring that up,
The
but
best-
it has happened.
The best example we can bring up is Forces. Like, Forces was announced.
Actually, I
Like,
think
they announced
Unleashed is a
Project.
better comparison.
I think Forces, because honestly, like, I think they announced Forces and Project. Well, Unleashed. I think they're both stacked as in good comparisons. Like, my argument for Forces is that they announced Project Sonic Resistance or whatever it was. I think it was like Sonic
Right,
Resistance. Project
Resistance.
Sonic 7.
Right, Resistance.
And then they showed this gritty, and people were like, yeah, people were like kind of down for this whole new approach after we had like Lost World Colors, all these more kid themed tones.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we might be going back to the tones of the Adventure series, and that's kind of cool.
And then
people are
fucking
getting-
Sonic, and then fucking classic Sonic appears jumping out of nowhere, and I'm like,
And
Oh,
I think
and
that's
Rosie.
my point. Thanks.
That whole trailer was like the Sonic cycle and a microcosm of it. Just like it was the whole Sonic cycle, or almost the whole Sonic cycle, in a minute trailer. It was kind of a work of art, the way it was handled.
you gotta admit,
Yeah.
with the way I interrupted your, it's gonna sound a little bit rude, but the way I interrupted your thing, it's pretty much the way that, it's pretty much the way that that Sonic Forces was doing it. Like, yeah, you suddenly you start to think, yeah, it's gonna be greedy, it's gonna be realistic, it's gonna be it's going to go back to the
Well-
adventure
Then bam.
days, and then bam, Sonic, classic Sonic.
Well, for one, I just hate when people assume my points. For two, I think, like, I thought the classic Sonic was sketchy, but I think, honestly, things got weird when they announced the Creator character. I think Forces
The
got really
character.
I think more people are more hyped about that than classic Sonic to be, in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think it was I don't think it was reliable hype though. I think people were like, because like there were also a lot of times where I heard people were like, "Oh, great, they're doing character creators like every AAA game is doing now. What's the point?" And it's like, yeah, I mean, it was great for the Sonic OC creators, but it's like those are people in the Sonic fandom we don't really like give a lot of credit to. You know, it's not people we really give a lot of weight to in terms of opinion.
I mean,
like, if you're gonna create Alex the Hedgehog, like, what are you're kind of wasting your time.
To add to Wheat's point about this, we also have the fact that we have to consider that there are memers, and some of the hype could be diverted to that. You know.
I think some of the best that came from the character creator was like the Joker stuff. That was kind of neat. But at the same time, it's like I think there was a lot of groundswell of like, okay, we can create our character, and then when you look at the base game itself, the create a character has more. It seems like the create a character was the most developed part of the game.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's like, why even call this Sonic? Why make this a Sonic game then? I mean, why don't you just make your own create a character platformer or whatever if you really wanted to go that route?
It felt off, definitely. I definitely have to agree with that.
I just want to say one of the best things about Forces is the fan theories that have come of it. Specifically one that says that Forces is essentially a creation of the Phantom Ruby in Sonic Mania and nothing more.
I will
And then
take that
another
as
one
canon.
that
I
is
will take
nothing
that.
but a furry palace in Persona 5.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Oh boy. What a fan theory. Pat needs to
yeah.
talk.
Well, I mean, I guess. Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, I could talk more about that, but we're gonna do Forces at some point, so I guess we should save it for then.
Yeah. But
Wait,
yeah,
go back to-
going back to the Sonic cycle, I really think that, like, I know that a lot of people tend to be really pessimistic about this whole, about Sonic's, popularity and stuff like that. But at the same time, I also think that it's not really warranted.
Actually, I disagree a little. I think if any series kind of deserves a little bit of that skepticism, because there's a difference between pessimism and skepticism. I think pessimism is like, we jokingly call Legon pessimistic, but I think he has more skeptical. Yeah, I mean, but I think he has more justifiable skeptical views as opposed to pessimism, which is just naturally being super down on something before you even understand what it's supposed to be. I think Sonic has deserved that reputation of natural skepticism, where it's like, we know the series will let us down. We know the series is like prone to being wacky and funky and like poorly developed.
Yep, and that's
Like,
why
even
the Sonic cycle has
Generations.
its credibility.
Even Generations, which I think is one of the best, if not the best 3D Sonic games, still has rough patches.
Yeah, still has. I mean, but it's. I think Generations is what we want out of games in general.
Yeah.
Like, we want games that are
polish,
good.
care.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we want those kind of games that are good, but it's like, we don't mind if they have rough edges. It's just half the game shouldn't be a rough edge.
I kind of wish Generations had like double the development time, so we could like double the stages and content, and or DLC packs.
Or just DLC.
Yeah,
I mean-
it's one of the few games that I think you can justify DLC, and I'm surprised they never put DLC in it.
They should have. No, but no, we want to work on Lost World now. I'm like, are you kidding me, guys?
No, you don't.
I mean,
Believe me, you don't.
Roger.
Sus, you know that
Roger.
you know about about the mods that I made for Sonic Forces, which included altered stages. So when I keep telling people that the problems with Sonic Forces come down
These
to the
assets are
design.
so fucking goofy. I'm sorry to cut you off, but these
Yeah.
assets are so goofy.
No.
Why are we still doing special stages? Stop doing
Yeah.
special stages. We're done with them.
Because I get the
You want-
keys, damn it! I don't lose
Stop
them.
getting the keys.
For Frick's sakes, leave me
Just don't pick
alone.
him up. He's probably just farming the extra lives.
I mean, well, that's a little justifiable, but I'm like, damn, you really are dying on that special stage build. aren't you?
I didn't even realize. It's just
These are
force of
good.
habit.
These are good.
Dude, I didn't even realize it.
Making
It
fun
was
of
just
him.
force of habit.
Yeah. Making fun of him, though. It's like, no, we swear the special stages are good. Oh, like, damn it. No,
okay,
but
so yeah, like
the Sonic cycle, for sure. I agree.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I was telling Sus that yeah, a lot of people say when I talk to people about the problems with Sonic Forces, I always say that they come down to design more than anything. So here's something that I'd like to ask too. Since you played the mods that I made, where I pretty much changed the layout of the stages, what do you think? Do you think that the problems with Sonic Forces are down to design, or do you think it's just the boost formula in general?
Wait, what do you mean by design?
Like the
Kind of
level design.
Oh,
you know.
the design, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely the design, because the Hedgehog engine works. I mean, it can definitely render and do a lot of cool things. It's just the controls of Forces did not really jive. Well, I should say the controls of Forces perfectly jive with the bland stage design, but it's not a fun experience. And when you mod the physics and you add the platform and the challenge that you did in the mods, I mean, it was a more entertaining game. Like, I felt like I had more control of Sonic. I was able to do more acrobatic jumps and things I was able to used to do in the adventure titles. And I couldn't do that in Forces because everything is so linear, automated kill plans everywhere. And it just doesn't feel like a game anymore. It feels like a,
Forces
interactive movie.
is the definition of boost to win.
But anyway, we're done with the first part, right? So,
Yeah.
the next part.
Yeah. See you next part, guys.
I'll pick up my point next part. See you guys.